I just got the tweet in. Said live with Keith Stewart PGA on
Ooh.
Twitter. So we got 65 live already.
Love it. Love it.
And changing backdrops around this cottage, but I still have the Canadian flag in the background.
You got to do what's right.
Andy full redemption from his hatred of Kentucky, that he loved Canada. He loved Hamilton. What'd you think?
Oh, it was tremendous. It was tremendous. They much like the Kentucky crowd, the how do you say it, Louisville crowd.
You think that was a troll? Do you think that he was trolling? No,
Nope.
I don't think it's not him, right?
No, I think that it just is a matter of like I think he would take it personally to not do it right. I just think it's as much as he was low on their radar, the Louisville's low on his. So I think he just wants to move on. I don't know, but it was pretty funny. That's for sure.
It's not in his DNA, I think, to do that kind of stuff.
Definitely not.
I don't think he pronounced it right, but I did say on Twitter to throw his ass back in a Kentucky jail.
You're tough. You're tough.
Any takeaways from the event, though? I mean, Bobby Mack, obviously non-U.S. winner, one Canadian, one stud. We did it.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me is that as you and I develop these conversations every Wednesday, and we go through the board, we consistently center our conversation as the talk develops around the people that have played key roles in all of these things over the last, I don't know how long we've been doing this, probably like 8 weeks now. And I would say the last 6 weeks, as you and I build a rapport and, I relay and you dig and we do these things, you come up with these names. But, we talked a lot about Mac Hughes. We talked a lot about Bobby Mack. We talked, and we're not here to say that like these guys are always going to win, but these could be blue chip guys to all your DFS people in the Discord. And they've got to be really happy with what's going on, I would think.
Yeah. What'd you take about him not coming to Memorial? I mean, kudos to him for just saying I need a break.
Well, it was also his entrance to the U.S. Open, and he probably, Europeans are wired differently than us. He probably wanted to go celebrate, and that was just more important to him. Experience is not things, I guess. I don't know, but pretty unbelievable. That's the only time his dad's ever caddied for him, like in a major professional event. Guy shows up once, he's a little homesick, and then the guy goes and wins. Is just a phenomenal story. Just great.
It's speaking of U.S. Open, some surprising names in these qualifiers that did not make.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Your namesake, killer, maybe not killer anymore, Keith Mitchell.
Yeah, I killed him at Houston. He's done. He's on the blacklist.
Yeah. I'll give you credit there. You told me he's done. He's just not. Sergio, no Sergio.
Sergio and Pat Reed picked that Texas one, which was
Patrick withdrew, right?
Yeah, and which was odd to me because that was the Monday after the PGA, which you knew would be a long week and everything. And Reed, I would have thought, would have been a very live commodity at like 100-1 to win the U.S. Open. And, with his short game around Pinehurst number 2, I've been doing a ton of Pinehurst number 2 content already. And, digging into that place, I mean, those types of guys are so viable in so many different ways, whether it's DFS, diversifying your card, whatever you want to do. And for him to go there and then withdraw and not even get it, because he's got one of the longer, I mean, everyone's making a big deal about Adam Scott's streak in the majors, but he's got one of the longer ones. I think he was at like 41 in a row. That's like 10 straight years. That's hard to do, and for guys,
he also has the longest made cut of majors, I believe. Pat Reed does. Like he makes every one of them. Matsuyama, Pat Reed
does. Short game. Both those guys, right? Both, Anyway, short game this week. Biggest takeaway so far I've seen is that right outside
you were there, by the way, or you just build a sound studio?
No, I did not. You would see the Tiger Slam behind me if I was at home. I am in the I'm in the Muirfield Village Media Center is like so old school. You'd think they'd have ashtrays on the tables. It's so cool. They have it. In front of us, there is a hole-by-hole manual scoreboard that they will use for everyone. Now, this year, there's only 73, but like in years past, when there's 120 players, there's 120 names up there with all the scores getting put up with little cards and everything. This is the radio room that I'm in with the foam on the walls, and it's just a really throwback, cool place. But What I was going to say was that right outside the front door of the media center is the short game area. And man, has it been populated because the rough is thick and dense and it's preoccupying everyone in the press conferences. Go back through the transcripts and all the scrums after the press conferences. Everyone's talking about how healthy the grass is. And, there's always a lot of recency bias that they're like, oh, this is the longest I've ever seen the rough or the most dense.
Right.
But people are fixated on it for sure.
So would that be where you start this week? Elite short game?
Yeah. I mean, well,
then how did Hovland win?
I would say six. Well, last year he had a short game. At Valhalla, he had a short game. In between, he did not. But I would say it's 60% long iron play and 40% short game. Gets you pretty close to the crown this week for sure. They have some really deep bunkers here. They have some interesting green complexes. They're very small. It's a lot like Torrey, and it's small greens and a very long golf course. So that long iron play becomes really, really important. You got to launch the heck out of the ball. You got to hit it high like Ben Hun on, man. You got to sky that ball like Scotty, and that's your only chance to hold these greens. Jay Day for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, this is a club that he belongs to. And J Day's got the short game to complement it too. Obviously, so does Scotty.
J Day's screaming at me this week. I'm just seeing as like a first round leader, right?
I got a guy that's screaming at me this week, and we'll get into it later. But he's at a very, very good value for who he is, and it's just like through the monitors, he's just like it's been loud all week. And when you look at the number,
what price range is he in? I know I'll get him.
He's in the mid 60s.
Okay. On DK, is he in the sixes?
Let me look right here. Hang on. He's in the sevens, and he's never in the mid sixes.
Okay.
And he's never in the sevens ever.
Okay.
Well, hasn't been in a long time. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you said you haven't seen him, I haven't seen him in the sevens in a long time. And when you price that guy 2,000 less than Fleetwood, who is not going to win anymore.
Yeah, I mean he's another one. He's not at Killer Keith status yet, but Tommy certainly ejected on Sunday. I mean that was sad to see. First hole, guy's in the pine trees like he's cutting one down for Christmas or something. I don't know what was going on in there. The guy's leaning under the thing. He was wearing like a rowing jacket from Nike. It was a big mess. I don't understand.
I have my notes that Jack likes to keep it firm and fast. June in Ohio, hot, windy.
Yep.
Jack waters the greens enough so they don't die, but add wind and it's like a U.S. Open. Is it going to be firm and fast this week? You think?
Well, he has the equipment here to dry out the greens, so he can do whatever he wants with those. He's got the mechanics to do that. Last year it got really warm, windy, and high sun, so it got a little bit crispy. And you got to remember, I think Hovland made 17 birdie or better scores, and he won at 7 under in a playoff. So it got really crispy last year. It was super hot, and which was great because he likes that. He wants it to be hard but fair. He doesn't want it to be like Lancaster. He doesn't, probably doesn't want it to be like Valhalla, but somewhere in between. I think you get a dozen this week, and you're probably in the running come Sunday afternoon. I like that number right now, based upon what I've seen. We're going to get a decent amount of rain this evening, maybe half inch, quickly though, in storms and stuff. So I think it'll mainly just affect the rough and a little bit of the fairways. The greens will be fine. Because again, they can suck the air out of them. So the challenges that we think are going in are basically what they are going in. You got to stay out of the rough here, and if you are in and around the greens, you have to be somewhat accomplished with a wedge in order to kind of save par.
Do you have takeaways from Valhalla here? Like, do you have comps at all? A tougher Valhalla?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the guys were able to play looser at Valhalla because it wasn't as demanding a test, but it's the same exact, well, not the same exact skill set, but from a long iron and from a driving perspective, Jack's done an incredible job here. And, this place is designed in honor of two places. The first is Augusta National Golf Club, and then the second is Muirfield over in Scotland, Jack's two favorite golf courses. So when you play those places, they're all about width, angles, not to go deep down the Andy rabbit hole, but, the idea is that you got to hit the right side of the fairway. The greens are positioned in certain ways that there's a lot of elevation changes. You change direction a lot. So you're fighting a lot of different wind challenges all the time. This is probably the toughest finish in all of golf, majors included. I mean, when you look at 16, 17, and 18 for the whole year, all three of those holes play in the top 25 hardest on the PGA Tour. And that's what, like 800 or 900 some holes, like that's a lot of
16
holes.
over water, 16 over water, scorecard killer.
And that one they changed it, and everyone likes the changes. They removed
what did they change about it?
So they moved they made it 25 yards shorter. They moved the tee to the right, give it a better angle, and they give you a bailout now. That front right bunker that was there that everybody was hitting it into, there's like a bailout zone there. And everyone that's come in, like Colin was in here today in the press room, and he was saying how much he liked it more. He also says how much he loves this golf course, and that everyone keeps asking about signature of the week.
Hovland or Colin?
Colin. Morikawa. Sorry.
That's right.
And he just said, he goes, I don't care what week you put this event, I'm coming because I love this golf course. And I'm high on Morikawa this week for a number of reasons, but the fact that when a guy makes a point to come to a place and he wants to compete there is a big deal.
What's your milkshake count right now? Personally,
they don't serve milkshakes to the press. Come on,
Yeah. They have in your dusty 1970s padded room right now.
Oh, it's definitely. I mean, it is. I mean, the ceiling is like Marlboro gray. It's awesome.
I love it.
It's so old school. It's pretty funny. I mean,
is the caddy stuff still true too? Like, the caddies used to complain that Jack didn't treat them well, and I don't know if that's changed over the years. But are the caddies happy here right now, or?
I mean, it's a $20 million purse. I think the caddies are pretty happy.
Okay.
73 guys are here. Essentially every person here could make the cut. Top 15 ties with 10-shot rule, and the way that how hard this place is, if a guy is at, let's say, 7 under after 2 days, you've got to be more than 3 over or not in the, I mean, it's going to be tight. We've had 7 playoffs here in the last 10 years, and there's been 11 events because you got to count the Colin Workday win, right? Which was also a playoff, but 7 playoffs and 11 events is a trend for sure.
Why didn't we set this up for you drinking a milkshake during this show? I don't know why.
I got
been fucking.
I got my water bottle.
If I had to do that, I would have puked. I can't drink milk because I'm 47.
I'm honestly, they don't offer us milkshakes.
Really?
No, we're down in the bowels of the clubhouse, man. So
love it. Yeah. We'll smoke cigarettes instead.
Yeah, we can do that.
Top of the board. Aberg is back. Missed the cut at Valhalla. No lingering knee issues. I've seen on Twitter he looks good, feels good. That top of the board, like last week, seems like one of the winners is going to come from there. That's not like a profound thing to say, but you got Sheffler, you got Rory, you got Xander, you got Vic, past winner. Morikawa loves it here. Great finish, great history. Aberg, and then Cantlay, 2-time winner, right? And it stops at Thomas, but like you could practically do a min one rule of one of those people, and then talk to me about Sheffler.
The first 5 on the betting board are certainly extremely live.
Even Hovland for you?
Oh, definitely Hovland.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, you're back.
Definitely. Hovland is back. Hovland's back.
What makes him back? It's just Valhalla?
Well, the idea that he has the confidence back in his short game. You got to remember when we go back through the spring and the winter, like even when I saw him at AT&T at Pebble, like he was like chipping, like he was out there at National Geographic filming somebody clubbing baby seals. I mean, he was just hacking at the ground. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's got that confidence back, much like Morikawa going back to Sessinghaus as his coach right after API. And then look what he did. He goes 3rd, 9th, 16th, 4th, a third. There's only one guy that's been top 5 in both majors so far this year, and that's Colin. And there's 4 guys that were top 10 in both, right? So, I think Victor and Colin and then the big 3 are all very live here.
What about Cantlay? Does he finally get another win?
No, I'm fading Cantlay.
Really?
I don't see it at all. No.
Why?
Because this isn't the type of place. He should have been good at Valhalla. And he finished 53rd, and he was like maybe mediocre, right? And the things like the one thing that made Cantlay so good here was his driving of the golf ball. And it's been very average at best. And you have to be a total driver of the golf ball. Look at those top 5, right? I mean, Morikawa hits that fade just like Jack right in the fairway. Obviously, Hovland won here. Scotty gained 20 tee to green last year. Rory's the best driver in the game. And then you've got Xander, who's probably the most well-rounded. And a little side note on Xander. I had a little back and forth with him yesterday in the press room talking about, why he's never had a top 10 here before, because it seems
why is that? His form is crazy.
Yeah. So he countered me and he said, I think I've top 10 here before. And I didn't say anything in my way. I was just kind of like, and then he was like, you want me to answer the question? I was like, yeah. And he was like, it's just, he goes, I don't think that I've had an aggressive enough approach here. And I followed up by saying, like, basically, like, do you think because you won at Nicklaus place like Valhalla, that helps? He goes, well, and winning always helps. But he said, this place is really exacting. And if you don't come after it like right away, it'll come after you. And then you're out of the tournament. You're going to make a double on Thursday and a double on Friday, and then you're done because you're 4 off, you're 8 off the lead or something like that. And you can't catch up like that here. So it's interesting that, there's a new Xander in town, man. He is way.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that weight off his shoulders, he could go scorch earth from now on. Like he's already busting on Jay Monahan. He's feeling it right now.
So okay, so that's another thing. He was asked about that off to the side, not during the transcripts, and he said, "I don't know when those quotes were from." He goes, "I'm not going to lie, I said them, and I've been very critical."
Oh, they weren't from this week.
They were not from this week.
Ah,
no,
deceiving.
His idea, where he thinks it came from, was prior to the PGA that he was talking about those things with a media institution. So, but that's his best guess, and they're launching that right now for whatever reasons. But
hey, Chris, whose birthday? By the way, Keith, you know this about me. I can get any celebrity or athlete's birthday within 6 months of their actual birthday. Give me the person, I'll get it. I won't Google anything. That's part of my guarantee. And promise.
Maybe does he want you to guess my birthday?
Oh, I can guess yours.
Oh, this will be interesting. All right, I'll sit back and enjoy.
I'm going to say
just the date.
April 3rd, 75.
April 3rd of 75. April's wrong. The 3rd is wrong. and the 70s are correct.
Okay.
And you're well, I guess it's easy to say you're within 6 months because no matter where you guess, you're almost within 6 months. But yeah.
Was I within 6 months?
Yeah.
There you go, Chris. There you go.
Yeah. You're like a magician. It's all sleight of hand.
Within 6 months. There you go, Chris. Never fail. 1,000 batting average right now.
No, but you weren't. Well, you weren't within 6 months of the 1975. No.
Oh, really?
No. You were within 6 months of the month, which I don't see.
92. I don't know.
1992.
Men are.
I know it's not important.
Sheffler. Okay, why doesn't he win this week? The case is off his shoulders. He's, big tournament, impressed Jack, 2 top 3s.
I don't have an answer to that question
because he could easily win by 5.
I mean, he should have won by 7 last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gained 20 on the field, tee to green,
and
then he was 20 behind Denny with the putter, and he lost to Denny by 1. Do the math on that. Like, really think about that for a second. Like, he was the worst player to make the cut with the putter. He lost 9 strokes to the field, and he lost by 1, or was out of a playoff by 1.
Right.
It's like impossible. I mean, sometimes when you see a guy lose 9, it was like Luke List at Wilmington, right? Back in the BMW 2 years ago, the last time Cantley won. And, you're like, okay, well, that guy's not a good putter, but like, he didn't like gain 20 tee to green. Like, the polar performance there is just like, it's mind boggling. I mean, had Scotty just gone even there, he would have beat those guys by 8 shots.
And he's putting better.
And you don't have to be a good putter to win here. That's the scary thing. Like, Scotty was missing the hole from 4 feet, which is where you really start to lose strokes because you're being compared to such a large part of the field in order to be gaining or losing against the field. And when you're missing 4-footers and missing the hole, or 3 putting from 5 feet, it's not good.
You have great golfers winning this tournament, and you have great golfers on the ascent in their career. Cantlay twice, Hovland, Rahm,
Bryson, Hideki early.
Hideki early.
Yep.
Do you believe there is a factor of saying, I want to impress Jack. I want to be part of this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Every single guy mentions that. I want to shake Jack's hand on Sunday. And I don't want to do it any other day of the week. I want to do it.
And it's not just a ceremonial thing like, fuck, I got to shake Jack's hand. It's like, this is very important to do this as part of the golf timeline.
Yeah. I mean, if a green jacket is a 10 out of 10, this is like a 8. It's a big deal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's same thing with winning Palmer's event when he was alive. Jack's not going to be around forever. everybody wants sons want to.
He's 84.
What's that?
He's 84.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't look good. He just looks like 84, like
6'3", 1940. Let me Google
yeah.
that.
And, Jack's birthday's in January.
Fuck. Still within 6 months. January 21st, 1940.
Yeah, January 21st. Yeah.
The guarantee for me is 6 months, and I got 6 months.
Well, there's only 12 months, Matt. So if that only works.
But there are a million years. There are infinite years.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the date.
I'm saying 6 months of their actual come out of his mother's vagina day. Yes,
like a Dr. Emmett Brown sort of thing, like on the time-space continuum.
Correct. I'm not saying 6 months of a year. No, that's cheating.
Yeah, well, I mean, you like an edge. All right, so where were we? Jack.
All right,
so they want the handshake. Yes,
they want the handshake. Okay, so I have one for that handshake here in a second. Cantlay though surprises Aberg, right? Aberg live.
Live. So there's a couple guys that were injured or we perceived to be injured as of Valhalla that I perceived to be injured, and I've been looking for them. Aberg looks fine. I haven't seen him walk up and down. I've just seen him practice hills and stuff like that. But Aberg looks fine. So I would think that he, if you're an Aberg guy, he has the skill set here for sure.
Cantlay sub 10%. I know he's not great form off the tee right now, but that may be a steal. Here's the one that I think that, and I know you'll agree, the Ghost Jim did not have Wiley saying mother's. Well, there you go.
Yeah, bingo.
Some people did, and that's why they won the million. If you take into account of great short game, great putter, a little wonky off the tee, but long, and kind of a student and a lover of golf, and would like no more than to shake Jack's hand on Sunday, plus a flop leg, is Tagala. Looking for your reaction. You're a Tagala guy.
Yeah, I am a Tagala guy, and currently in my mind, he's trending a little more towards Killer Keith than he's trending towards signature winner.
Mm-hmm.
There were some things that I got reports on up in Canada, and then we watched on TV, and it wasn't great. And
can you disclose those or no?
Yeah, he's just not hitting it good.
Okay.
He was working with his coach today on the range. He has the same coach forever, and it didn't look like other people look. Like I wrote an article today because, and I was quoting Charles Dickens, but about A Tale of Two Cities, because there was two guys practicing next to one another.
Right.
One was Spieth, and the other one was Ben On, right?
Yeah.
So, and my whole point with this story was that, the Tale of Two Cities was that you had Spieth, who's plus 5,000 or 50 to 1 to win. He is got the launch monitor out. He's got Cam McCormick there. He's got, he's working on all these feels and everything, trying to hit iron shots. And then to the right of him, you've got just a guy with his caddy hanging out, shooting the breeze and just ripping long irons like he works for the Highway Commission.
Who's this?
Ben On. And they're both 50 to 1. So I was kind of like, here's your classic case. Both of these guys have great course history, but if you're not here looking at this, right, and saying like, man, this guy over here, like I was there for 20 minutes and Spieth probably hit 5 full swing shots. And in between each one of those, he probably hit 10 swings where he was doing some sort of feel or a movement or looking at a screen or a video with his coach. And then, one after another, Ben On, who launches it super high, was just like Sound
Who
effects.
else? Who else is in the bet on category right now for you that in that sort of like feel good zone?
Oh,
Just
I mean,
based on observation.
I'm all over Siwoo this week. You
Okay.
know, I mean, Siwoo's been like that all year. I mean, he's been top 15 tee to green in every field he's played in this year. He's been awesome, you know. And then people always come back to me, and Wiley will say, "Keith, he can't putt." Okay, well, that may be true, and it's
Siwoo
true.
Kim can putt. Oh my god!
But it's true more often than not. But here's the thing: if you look at Siwoo's history here, well, he's had 4 straight top 20s, right?
Yep.
But if you look at his history here with the putter, it's been positive, right? More often than it's like a majority of the time, it's been positive. You go
Yeah.
to the Nicklaus tournament course where they play the Amex. He putts great there. Well, he won that tournament, right? He's there's a lot of correlation between here and the Players Championship. Siwoo won that, and he putts good there. And then another one that most people don't get, but there's a huge correlation between this place and TPC Scottsdale, right? And then somebody's like, man, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, Ricky, Cantley, Scotty, Rom, Hideki, Tagala. Sure, if you want to go the Tagala route, yes. But like, look at all those guys that have played good there that play good here. And Siwoo Kim, he plays well there and he putts well there. So,
Sheffler.
I mean, Siwoo is like 3rd or 4th in the field over the last 5 years in scoring average for this. Like Cantley's number 1, Collins number 2. But I think Siwoo is either 3rd or 4th. He's just been really, really solid here. And we need a place where he's comfortable with the putter, and this is obviously that place.
I think they really mispriced a lot of the 7s, right? If you're talking about DFS in particular.
Let's take a look. All right, let me
Tony
look there.
Finau 7,900. I agree with you there. I think that's one of the first times, especially in a smaller field event like this, that you get Tony Finau sub 8K. That's a steal.
And I don't get it because he's been – I get it. Like Siwoo, the putter is really bad, but Tony's really good here. He's really good here. And what he does well, launch the ball, super long,
great hands around the green.
Great, but from longer rough. He's better from longer rough than he is from the short stuff, like next week at Pinehurst,
Okay.
So to put him at plus 6,500 and the company that he's keeping down there at the level that guy can play on a golf course where you got to be super long and like he's coming off 2 straight top 20s.
Yeah.
Where he just doesn't even putt. I mean, if he putts at all, he's top 5 and he has a chance.
Yeah.
And so for me, I put him on my outright card because I was just like, man, this is like when Hideki was 80 or 75 at Riviera. You're like saying you don't really want to be that guy, but sometimes these guys creep up so high and they're still playing good. It'd be one thing like we went to the PGA and Jordan was 90, but you're like, yeah, but we don't have any reason to think he's playing like Tony's actually playing really good.
Yeah.
The putter's but again, this is another place where he's gained more with the putter than he's lost. So I'm willing to take that risk at 65 to 1.
Yes. Now you get Noren more higher price. You get Thomas still over 9K. You get Fleetwood still over 9K. That's confusing. And then you get Finau in the 7s. You get Lowry down there. Not long, but Lowry's playing great. You get Siwoo Kim, who you like. I like Jason Day for some. Will Z, though, that's the big question. I mean, that's what everyone's talking about. Will Z, 7,500.
So Will Z was on the Aberg list of people to go check out, and he looks fine. I wonder about his
your eyeballs. He looks fine.
He looks fine. He's swinging the ball. He's swinging it great. The guy's striping it like he looks like he normally hits it, launching it the same. Body language is good. All of that, passes the smell test. So I mean, I'm not there because I think he's still battling back and forth with his injury. So I wonder about his confidence in a place that is truly exacting like this. But again, it was designed in honor of Augusta National, which is a place that Willie Z is very comfortable. You don't have to be a great putter here to do well. All of those factoids fit the Willie Z model. I just wonder about down deep, 72 holes worth of swings, if he can keep the ball in play with the driver, if he's worried about his back. I mean, same thing with Jordan and his wrist. Jordan's got a great history here, but he's battling his left wrist. So
there you go, Scotty.
And Scotty gains 20. So
he's still battling his wrist. Speed.
Yeah.
In your opinion.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Right. And he's grinding, man. He is grinding. It's bad. It's a lot,
Billy Horschel, past winner, 7,400. I think a good value on him. But Tom Hoagie, that's your guy, right?
Yeah, I would interchange Jaeger for Hoagie here. Better driver of the golf ball and better short.
You would take Jaeger over Hoagie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. In that kind of methodology there. Right. And I think Keegan is back to being good Keegan, not bad Keegan, which he was in Q1. Q2 has been good for Keegan. So what's been really interesting is Tom Kim keeps making cuts, keeps being very relevant, makes a lot of birdies.
Valhalla did something to him. All of a sudden he came from nowhere.
But like he's been good in majors and stuff. So like he's another guy in that range where like I look at some of the names like
is he long though? He's not really that long.
No, he's not, but Denny McCarthy's not long. Of course, Denny McCarthy's a much better scrambler putter than Tom Kim. But
this is Jason Day top 5 week. I'm telling you this right now. I'm going to cut this clip. Whoa. What are we at? Minute 31:37. Ryan Murphy from my team, Jason Day is going to be top 5.
So he'll withdraw at what time on Thursday?
Fuck you. Keith. Go get yourself a milkshake.
I can't. Touche. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I think the sevens in the DraftKings world is stacked. Harris English, again, tough course player, plays well when you least expect it. Brian Harmon there, not long, but Jaeger, love. Day, love. Zalatoris, gamble on. Straka, your guy.
I mean, this would be a Sepp Straka type of golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, he's your U.S. Open type of player. So, it's.
We've got 2 questions on Koivu, Jackson Koivu.
He was in the press room today. And
how good is he?
I mean, he's really good. But to be top 30, so like instantly, this is a signature field. This isn't last week at Canada where like there's 4 guys below 30-1, and then all of a sudden like everyone's at the 60s, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about you got 9 of the top 10 in the world. All these guys are prepping for the U.S. Open. For him to go top 30, geez, I'll flip. I mean, that would put him in like the Ludvig argument. That kind of talent. Is he that kind of talent? Right? He was just a freshman at Auburn.
It's a big moment. That's a big ask.
Yeah. I mean, he handled himself nicely in the press room today. That's a big. I mean, top 30.
That's a big ask.
That's beating half this field. Like, I don't know why I would be. So I answered the question. I don't think so. But my question back would be like, why are we focused on him? Like, there's a million other proven guys that are up there.
Well, there are some insane people in the Discord, including Ghost Jam right now, who called you Mr. Stewart. So he knows this question is terrible. But there's a lot of Ricky Fowler talk going on right now in our Discord. We got to tell him to stop. Like I've quit Tommy Fleetwood. I've given up that addiction.
I mean, I have a couple addictions this year that I really need to stop on.
Who is it? Have on.
That never really got to the point of like I was popping Zins or something like that because I couldn't get between cigarettes. But like for a long time, for a couple of years now, like anything Killer Keith, I was like, and I don't know if it's the name, season long fantasy, everything. I'm just like milking the cow on that thing. So I had to drop that. And it really broke my heart to break up with Victor earlier this year. Because
now you're back together.
He won me everything last year. But
you're back together now.
I guess the guy I'm most fascinated with. I mean, I broke up with Tommy after last year's Canada. I just gave up. Like the guy's got 36 top 10s.
You know, you double bogey the first hole when you're in contention. Bye. I'm done.
I mean, that's like the subtitle to his biography. Like Sunday opening double bogey. That's it. Forward written by Matthew Wiley. Right? Like it's. You could just cue it up.
And I just had thrown a ton of money on him to win. I just looked at my phone and go, perfect.
But I'm a huge Cantley guy, and Xander's winning me over. But Cantley's easy to give up because sometimes he's tough to root for, just personality-wise. But Theegala is he's tough to kick away from. And I'm avoiding it this week
you.
because you're right. There's a flop. You got all the reasons in the world why this is a good fit for him. The kid is due for a signature event, but you know what? A year and a half ago, we kept saying Cam Young was due for a signature event. Like his first big win would be one of these types of things. And we're not going to discuss him at all today, but we're going to discuss Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't agree with this, Ted. I don't think, especially the signature events, that these guys just say, "Hey, I'll go about a 50% of my max just because I'm focused on next week." I mean, they want to win everything. They want to win every week.
There's two things I'll say to that. Number one, Rory holds the career Grand Slam the week prior. He's won the week prior before every single major of the year.
Yeah.
Right. He's won at Wells. He's won before the Masters. He's won before the British Open. Last year he did it with the Scotland Open, the Scottish Open. Sorry, pardon me, my own heritage. And then he's won before the U.S. Open. So like Rory's obviously trying, and I think Scotty's like just wants to win everything. I mean, he starts off Colonial. He could have mailed it in a Colonial and spent time with his lawyer or something. He shoots 2 over against the field, and he's 9 back, and then the guy came in second.
So I would say this, Ted. I used to believe this, that they just want to sort of decelerate, and then you have Scotty Scheffler post Masters winning at the Heritage, right?
I think a big part of that mindset comes from like when people were kids watching golf, and then you had the Ernie Els and those kinds of guys and the Phils where they would take weeks off, and it was visible they would take weeks off. But since Tiger came through and these guys hit the gym all the time, they're not out killing it every night. Their caddy might be, but they're not. These guys, when they are here, they are here to work. There is a workmanlike mentality, and they are grinding their tails off. So I just don't see that anymore as being a thing. I see it like if a guy just doesn't have it, I can see him working on things for future weeks and testing it out. But I think if a guy thinks he's decent, they are full steam ahead.
Hardly any rain today at Columbus.
The rain's not. Yeah, the rain's not supposed to come till 4 or 5 o'clock.
We talked about English a little bit. I think English shows up on difficult courses. Could I describe what he does well? I mean, he putts well. He's a pretty good driver of the ball, but in tough spots, English always seems to be there.
I like English more next week than this week because he's such a good putter. And I mean, he's good for both. He's good for both. I mean, he's not a guy to win, but he's a good blue chip guy for sure.
All right. So in the lower range, I'm going to give you one name right now, Taylor Moore, right? I think they mispriced him 6,800. So talk to me. You're a Taylor Moore guy, big time.
So yeah, I am. And I was with Pat the other night, and he says to me, he goes, "Is Taylor Moore a real guy? You're out there on tour." He goes, "Is Taylor Moore a real guy?" And I was I don't know. I was like, I don't know, but he's like one of the few guys that's finished top 20 in the first 2 majors.
Right.
So what is Taylor Moore good at, right? He is a good driver of the golf ball. He's a very good short game, very good putter. Taylor Moore is your prototypical PGA Tour pro that just always scores well. Right? He always gets the most out of it. And the guy can barely hit an iron, it seems like at times, but that guy maximizes his scoring potential, it seems like, on every round. And if you do that enough, then you score very well. And there's another name down there in that land, right? Because Taylor's got to be – is Taylor in the 6s?
He's 6,800. 7,700 Taylor Moore, I'd win that, but 6,800 Taylor Moore, I was like, that's a misprice. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy mentioned it. One guy mentioned it for me. This may be too low for you, but thoughts on Dunlap? I think Dunlap at 6,200 is, and just my own sort of recency observation, I like Dunlap a lot.
Yeah, I don't. In that range, I would go Lee Hodges, 100%.
Lee Hodges?
Oh, my God. Are we paying attention?
Yeah. Talk to me about Lee Hodges.
Maybe you need a refresher course.
Has there ever been a good Lee golfer ever? No, never.
Okay. So
never a good Ben, never a good H, never a good Lee.
Here's the thing, right? Lee Hodges, playing very well right now. Looks the part. Everything on the range. Watched him hit balls today. He was over balls. Looked really good. Really happy. 12th at Valhalla. So if we were using this course as a comp for Valhalla, obviously vice versa is true, right? Lee Hodges played here for the first time last year, finished 12th. Okay. He won at 3M, where you have to be really good about driving the golf ball because it has all those hazards. It's one of the more difficult driving TPC golf courses, which is almost an oxymoron in many ways. And he kind of blew away that field. Finau, JT. I mean, he had a 5-stroke lead going into Sunday, and I think he's back to playing that level of golf. Alabama player, Davis Riley, inspirational a little bit, but I like him. Maybe not at 200 to 1. Him in a situation where he's, in the DFS lineup, or he is on your placement card or in head-to-head matchups.
Yeah,
I think, and I think having him down there next to like Davis Riley, I think the two of them are both really good, and people are going to look to names that they've been hearing lately, like an Adam Schenk or a Victor Perez,
Thompson, Riley,
Davis Thompson, or you just brought up Nick Dunlop, right? Dunlop's not been good on hard golf courses. He's been good on easy golf courses. So, that's kind of it. Hodges was my longest play of the week.
Who was Keith's guy in the 7s? There's a number of questions. I know. Listen, I know that was the joke. There's been There's been very good Lee golfers. It's like when I said there's no good golfers named Ben or with the last name H. It's funny you're explaining that.
Well, yeah.
Who was Keith's guys in the 7s? You said Finau, right? Finau was your guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he shouldn't be in the 7s.
He should not be.
Kitayama.
I like Jaeger in the 7s. I like Glover. I like Tony. I like Keegan. Oh, Siwoo's in there. I love Siwoo. Siwoo and Tony. There you go. Siwoo and Tony.
Right.
And there's a couple other names for you there. And Billy Ho has been playing some great golf lately.
He's a winner here.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next year he cried, which was interesting.
He finds fairways.
He's a great long iron player, and that's why he won here. And he's a great putter, scrambler. You got to scramble this week. I mean, that's one thing about Siwoo. Like when you get down to it, he's 7th in scrambling, 6th around the green.
He's elite short game.
8th in bogey avoidance. You got to do it. Since they did the renovation, the average winner makes subpar scores like somewhere in the 18 range. It was like 17.8 or something like that. And then the average winning score is 11. So they're making 6 mistakes.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, this is a tough test. What's interesting is that Quail Hollow seemed to really set up for Valhalla, which is neat. Right. But people are going to say that this week doesn't set up for Pinehurst. But Pinehurst is so strategic, and so is this golf course. Yes, they're not going to hit a lot of hack-out shots from long rough, but at the same time, when they're in the wiregrass and doing all those other things and trying to come up with a really solid, successful game plan, I mean, both those things apply, which is, if you want to parlay Scotty 2 weeks in a row and maybe win a little more, I can't argue against it.
How degenerate getting this week? A lot of Dunlap, likely a lot of Thigala, and Jason Day. That's how dirty it's going to get.
Ooh.
Rough is thick. Spencer Smith. Yes.
Yeah, the rough is. I've been out in it. It's it's your classic social media. Drop a ball or a small child in there and lose it. It's thick, for sure.
Or your cigs.
Yeah, your pack of Marlboros. They got one of those old machines in the back of the media center where you pull the arm out.
Does it still work?
No, I'm just kidding. But the walls in here. You can see the paint right above the.
Yeah, it's yellow. It's nicotine yellow.
Yeah,
it's a smoking room.
I mean, it's like a cross between a urinal cake and like a UPS uniform. It's awful.
Hell yeah. All right, who's your winner? Who's your winner? Include Sheffler.
Colin.
No shit.
Yeah.
Over Sheffler.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sheffler wins next week by 17 strokes. Who's
your big favorite fade?
Cantley.
Really?
Yeah, I mean he's the scoring average leader here over the last few years. He's got 2 wins. the guy top 10s here in his sleep, but right now he's not sleeping a lot. He leads the tour in strokes gained, distractions in my mind.
Sneaky Ben on. He looks great in the range and
looked really good. I can't bet everybody, but like I would have put Bet on my betting card, but I liked Tony and Siwoo a little more. I just felt like there was more win equity with Tony than there was with Ben, but you could go either way.
You got to do a video of this for the Discord. You have to.
Of what?
How many milkshakes you going to slam?
Buy
one. Put it on the RPS tab.
I'll have to talk to one of the players to get me one.
You can't even get one?
I can't go up there. If I go up there, I get thrown out.
Okay.
Because it's such a big deal, and then everyone starts posting them on social media. They don't let the media people get them because then it becomes like this big distraction. And
sure.
Jack's like Augusta, and he wants it to be proper, which is fine. So there you go.
Sheffler win. Tagala will be close. Flop leg.
He's
gonna do it.
Yeah. Good luck.
Okay. U.S. Open next week, right, brother?
All right. So how many Oilers and how many?
I can't have a Canadian team win before the Leafs. So,
well, I'm certainly not rooting for the Panthers.
I don't think the Oilers are gritty enough to beat the Panthers. Panthers are just kind of nasty, and they're gonna put a lot of hurt on their best players early. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting. Should be some good hockey though.
If Oilers win, I'll be extremely upset. Yes. Will I? Yes.
Ooh, boy. All right.
Yes. I'm sorry about your Rangers, by the way.
I didn't have to pack any Ranger gear.
Sorry. I'm sorry about them.
I'm sorry.
Ted, Ludvig looked fine, right?
He looked fine.
Yeah.
He looked a lot better than Valhalla for sure. You
okay.
know. And you said something about the U.S. Open before I mentioned the Oilers.
Yeah, next week. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll be down there. Yeah, I'll be there Monday afternoon. I've got to do show with Chantel, and then I go down. I mean, it's my life. It's not really a flex.
It's your wife?
It's my life.
Oh,
it's not really a flex.
Tom McCabe is Keith's wife. Okay.
If I put, it's not. That's
Keith,
definitely
McCabe.
She's married and I'm married, and she's actually pregnant, and I don't need any part of any pregnancy. Right?
The Balionis, Keith Stewart.
How about? I mean, it is like, and what I can't believe is that thing is everywhere. And
bro, they even embraced before their interview, right?
I mean, like whatever happens in Canada stays in Canada. I don't know, man. Like
you said 100%, and you're a straight edge, honest reporter. So, well, you didn't say it, but you wrote 100% on a piece of paper.
Okay. After you saw that picture, right?
Yeah.
That's friends with benefits, man. That's all I know. I went to college. I know what it's like. Come on.
No. Well, good luck on your new child with Chantel. And
no, she's happily married, and I'm happily married. I'm not letting that one fly. But yes, we'll do the next 2 weeks. We're on the road some more, so we will be.
Morikawa in, can't lay out. Scheffler in.
Yep. You want a little preview for next week? Everybody start working on their British Open history for sure.
For Pinehurst.
Oh yeah, and your Pete Dye history. I'll leave it at that.
What would you shoot at Pinehurst?
What would I shoot there?
Yeah.
From the 7,500 tees, par 70. I could break 90 for sure.
Yeah. On Sunday with Sheffler and the Sheffler group from the tips.
Oh, with all those people around?
Everything. Yes. That's the challenge.
Yeah, I'd never lose a golf ball. They all find it for me. That makes it easier. If we play Monday with nobody around, it's just me and you. It gets harder. You search for that thing, you know?
All right,
yeah. Brother. I'm a good chipper putter, so I'll take my chances around there. And it's going to be running. I mean, that's Sandhills, man. That thing's going to be firm and fast. A Rooney.
Keith, come to Double Eagle. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
Okay. He wants to hang with you, smoking heaters and slamming shakes, playing roulette. That's the Keith you want.
I don't do roulette. I do craps. But, I mean, I'll stand there for roulette. It's fun.
Keith's the man. Tip me well. There you go.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother.